Ngayon naman po ay dadako tayo sa topic na ano ba yung mga rules, no? Is there a rule? That's number one. Are there rules as to the change of monthly salary credit for the self-employed and voluntary members? And how do we do that? For the self-employed members, we need to remember that those who are below 55 years old, sa mga nandito po na 1,301 attendees natin, no? Dumadami po tayo, no? So those who are below 55 years old, they shall be allowed to change his or her monthly salary credit without limit in frequency and in number of salary brackets in a given calendar year. But take note, it shall be in no case, no, shall it be lower than the prevailing minimum monthly salary credit for the self-employed member. So if you are below 55 years old, you will be allowed without limit to change in the number of frequency as well as in the number of salary brackets na gusto po ninyong gawing contribution, no, kay SSS. Meanwhile, a self-employed member who is 55 years old and above, that should be a self-employed member who is 55 years old and above, shall be allowed to increase his or her monthly salary credit only once. So kapag kayo ay 55 years old na, only once na lang po kayo papayagan mag-increase in a given calendar year and by one salary bracket from the last posted monthly salary credit. So kung ngayon ay hindi pa kayo 55 years old na mga self-employed members, so you can already increase it without limit. But if you're already 55 years old, once in a given calendar year na lang po tayo pwedeng mag-increase ng ating monthly salary credit. Meanwhile, no, for the voluntary members, those who are below 55 years old shall also be allowed to change their monthly salary credit without limit in frequency and in number of salary brackets in a given calendar year, but in no case shall it be lower than the prevailing minimum monthly salary credit for a voluntary member. And to those naman po na 55 years old and above, no, take note of that particular number, 55. If you're above 55 years old, already 55 and above, you shall only be allowed to increase your monthly salary credit once in a given calendar year and by one salary bracket only from the last posted monthly salary credit except for the following cases. Ano-ano ito? First, in case of a change in his or her membership type from employee or self-employed to voluntary member for the first time. So let's say, ikaw ay 56 years old na, dati kang employed, at biglang retire. Early retirement ako kay company ABC, 56. And now, kahit ikaw ay retired na, parang you felt the need, no? Na you wanted to continue your contribution. You want to continue your contributions kay SSS. So now, as a voluntary member already, dahil dati employed ka, ngayon, voluntary member ka na kung magbabayad ka. And this is your first time to pay as a voluntary member. So since it's your first time, even though you're above 55 years old, you will be allowed to increase your monthly salary credit without limit. Okay? So yun yung mga exemption natin as to the ruling na 55 years old and above. Hope klaro po yan. And then second, in case of a higher maximum monthly salary credit under a new applicable schedule of contributions, kung kunwari tayo ay ang SSS ay maglabas ng panibagong schedule of contributions, so the member, the voluntary member, even if they're already above 55, they shall be allowed to increase their monthly salary credit up to the new maximum monthly salary credit provided, take note, provided that his or her last posted monthly salary credit corresponds to the new maximum monthly salary credit under the immediately preceding schedule of contributions. Okay? So yan po ang ruling natin, particularly with regard to having a new contribution schedule of contributions. Okay? And lastly, no limit shall be imposed in the case of decrease in monthly salary credit as to the voluntary member, but in no case shall it be lower than the prevailing minimum monthly salary credit. So even if you're above 55 years old, you wanted to lower down or to decrease increase your monthly salary credit, you will be allowed to do so, but syempre, not lower than the prevailing minimum monthly salary credit already.